Yes, people, welcome to Lee Judges TV. Just me and Lee tonight. Thought we'd do a little bit of a last minute show. Both of us very disappointed, as all Gooners should be today. We thought it might have been a nice afternoon. It started off very, very well. Tottenham losing, the sun was shining. And I saw the team sheet and everybody like me thought, Granit Xhaka's not at left back. He's corrected his mistake. Nuno Tavares is at left back. But he still is reluctant to put Martinelli down that middle, even when Lacazette is out. We still see Eddie Nketiah, who has scored a grand total, people, of 0 this season. So why should we be shocked that we're still struggling to score goals? Before I get my opinion and Lee's opinions, I'm going to put up a couple of audio clips today from our chat just to give you a bit of an understanding of how some of our friends of the show and people that you may know are feeling. Over to you, Dave.
He's flopped. He's been. They've invested in him. They gave him money. He's got his players. Obviously, they're holding on for the summer window. Whether or not he's still going to be here for the summer window, I could not see how he possibly could be. But mate, it's dead. The
I can see him being here, Lucy. This board, let me tell you, this board love Arteta. This board absolutely love him. The only way he's going is if we get relegated. That's my honest opinion. I know that sounds... But listen, this board love him. And let me tell you, I sit... As you know, I sit on those board meetings. And let me tell you, they love Arteta. They absolutely love him. I hate to sort of be the bearer of bad news, but he should go. He's had long enough now. When he let Aubameyang go in January and not brought in a replacement, that's when we said goodbye to the top four.
There you have it, people. Some of those voices you'll recognise, some of them friends of the show. I feel like there's quite a lot saying there that I can relate to, that I feel very, very similar with, Lee. And before we go into today's kind of game and get your thoughts, Lee, I just wanted to say a couple of things because I've taken a lot of stick, to be honest, in the last couple of years, and it gets right on my nerves. I can take stick, and that's what I do. I put myself out there, I give my opinion, and I don't expect everybody to agree with it. But what I don't really understand is how people can be so opposite to what I've been saying in terms of lauding this manager. This manager has had 2.5 years now, and I've not seen any improvement. I've not seen any progress. And when I start to see a little bit of nice play or some nice 1-0 wins, everybody starts getting very excited and starts shouting at people that have ever dared to criticise the process and the manager. Oh, you're in the mud now. You're in the mud now. What, because Arsenal are winning? Why do you think I'm going to games for? I go home and away as many times as I can because I want to see Arsenal win. So when people start calling, oh, you're in the mud now because Mikel Arteta is now finally winning games of football by beating 1-0 Watford and 1-0 Norwich and 1-0 Wolves and 2-1 in the last minute Wolves, and we're all starting singing songs. That's another thing as well. I've heard some shocking songs under this management. Please stop them. They're embarrassing. Yeah, going to games singing songs about qualifying for the Champions League. Super Mick is taking us to the Champions League with Kieran Tierney at the back and Gabby in attack. Well, Gabby ain't in attack. He never plays him up front. Kieran Tierney's now crocked. Stop singing it. It's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing, that song. I sit there and I'm embarrassed standing around all these people that are now uniting this fan base. Oh, we're going to the Champions League. We sacked Wenger for getting us in the Champions League because he couldn't get us to a title. Not because we were trying to qualify for the Champions League. Now we're singing because this unbelievable manager is going to take us to a Champions League. The other one I hate is follow, follow, follow. Arsenal are the team to follow. There's nobody better than Mikel Arteta. Well, I can tell you about 15 managers that are better than this idiot. He's got great hair, so we love him. He's the best looking Spaniard we know. I'm sick of it all, Lee. I can't stand all these songs we sing about this bloke. And he's embarrassing us by 3 games that I've just seen of football, which are shambolic. That we've not looked like scoring. The Erdegaard's had to smash a ball from 30 yards and it has to hit someone's head to go in the last 3 games. And that's the closest we've come to scoring a goal. Now today, let's go into today's performance. I looked at the team sheet. Eddie Nketiah is up front. And I don't care that Tavares is now playing left back. And I don't care that Xhaka's back in the middle. We're not scoring goals with Eddie up front. And it proved correct. Why can he not utilise Nicolas Pepe or Gabriel Martinelli in one of those positions up top? I want to understand it. I want him to come out and explain why he can't use one of those players, one of which is one of the best we've got as a youngster, and the other is our record signing, who scored, by the way, 16 goals more than Eddie Nketiah has scored this season in his last season. Nicolas Pepe is coming on with 10-15 minutes when he's got absolutely everything to do, and people are looking at him to win us the game. At one point today, we had 6-7 strikers on. In fact, all of our strikers, Lee, apart from Lacazette, who was injured, and we didn't even look like scoring. Now, does that mean that all 7 of those players are now crud? Is Erdegaard crap? Is Saka and Smith Rowe now rubbish? Are Martinelli no good? Is Pepe absolute useless? Is Eddie Nketiah rubbish? Or is the manager not having an understanding of a style of play to get us there? He's taken both of our fullbacks off today now and then wondered why there's no width. The guy is making schoolboy errors. He's playing Granit Xhaka at left back, then decides actually made a mistake there, which, to like you said, Lee, proves that he made an unbelievable mistake, that Nuno Tavares can't play because he's not good enough to play against Brighton, but he is good enough to play against Southampton. That team out there today was 1 or 2 players short of the team that we put up out against Nottingham Forest in January and lost. So why, apart from Charlie Patino and Granit Xhaka, and maybe one centre-back might be Gabriel Ben White, can't remember, it was so long ago, we have not improved since then. We couldn't beat Nottingham Forest. We can't beat Southampton, who are an absolute shambles of a team. Let's have it right. I did my Super 6 today. Do you know what I predicted? 1-1. I was too optimistic. We lost the game 1-0. I should have gone for it. I should have sat there and said, you know what, let's lose my head. Let's not use my heart. Let's lose my head for once and say that we are actually going to lose this game. Because we all bloody knew we were going to. You knew we were going to, Lee. I remember you telling me. And I sat there and said to you, no, I think we'll be all right. I think we'll nick a point. I don't think we're going to get it right. A lot of people say we might sneakily nick it. My dad went for 1-0. Everybody 1-0. It's never 3-0s anymore, is it? 1-0 to the Arsenal it'll be. It'll be 1-0. Why? Because we don't bloody score goals, mate. We haven't scored. When was the last time we scored more than 1 bloody goal? I can't remember. You have to go back weeks and weeks and weeks. So I'm telling this fan base now, if they are trusting this process and they start laughing at me, saying that I'm in the mud when we win games of football, let's have a look at the last few defeats, shall we, and see where we are. Because this is not a joke. This is not singing around songs about people being good looking with nice hair in Spain and people that can't get on the way to a Champions League. This is a serious situation where our board and our owners have to make a decision, because this cannot go on like this, league judges. And I'm telling you this now, if we get a next 3 games, Chelsea, Man United and West Ham, I can't see a win. I don't know about you. So where the hell do we go from here, Lee?
Well, summed it up really, really well there. Like, you know, where do I see us going from it? I ain't got a clue, mate. I really ain't got a clue. I watched the game of football today. Yeah, we played Southampton, who haven't won for 4 games at home, 6 games or whatever. Like, you know, so you're thinking maybe something out of it. Listen, everybody going mad before the game when Spurs had lost. I didn't even cheer that game because I don't care what other teams are doing. It's really on us. And today, I just felt that it was a shambles. It was an absolute shambles. I watched it with Southampton fans, Liverpool fans were watching it while the FA Cup was going on and things like that. Just can't believe what they're seeing. The team that just lacking in confidence now, no goals. It doesn't look like it's going to score, Dan. You know, we totally dominated the game of football. Now, listen, when people say, and Mikel saying, we dominated the game of football, let's get this right. Southampton allowed us to have all of that play because they knew we were so predictable. It was just you know, a comfortable defensive exercise from them. They was in no danger. Now, who do you blame? Mikel, right, for the team selection? Yes, because again, let's be honest. You know, he continues to keep playing Eddie, continues to keep going in. Does not look like scoring. If you'd have played Martinelli up there today, or and bring in Pepe, I would turn around and go, okay, at least you're trying out of the box sort of stuff. Ultimately, though, he had to play Eddie today because he's his backup striker. You know, the fact of the matter is we ain't scoring goals at this moment in time, but nothing's changed from our front runner. None of our front runners have been injured. The only one that's been injured is, Martinelli and Lacazette have both been out through illness. They've not been out through injuries and whatever. It's the same the same attacking lineup that is in January when they made the decision not to go any for it with anybody that I was happy with. So that is on Mikel's head, and that is also on Edu's head, because at the end of the day we don't look like scoring too many goals. Now the reason we got away with it so much, Dan, was because defensively was a lot sounder, and we was getting ways 1-0s and 2-0s because we was on a defensive foundation of good play. But since Tierney's gone out, the defensive foundation's gone. I look at that game today. Who do you blame? Who do you actually blame for that game? The chances we had or created, we didn't create that many chances. The ones we did, bloody open goals. You know, Smith Rowe, you know what I mean, should just bury that from 6 yards. He miskicks it down. It's a great save. It shouldn't even be nowhere near it, the keeper. How many chances did they have? 1 or 2. You know, we totally dominated the game. The substitutions were all over the place. You're 1-0 down, you've got to score 2 goals at half time. What's the first thing you do is you get Pepe on. Simple as that, like, you know what I mean? Doesn't come on till 20 minutes from the end of the game. Not nowhere good enough, like, you know what I mean? I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, why are you doing that? You know, you're consistently going with someone like Eddie. It's just not good enough. Listen, I'm going to tell you this now. Arsenal Football Club, all the money that we spend every week on season tickets and whatever, Eddie Nketiah would not start in any other Premier League team, right? Let alone a team chasing top 4. He wouldn't get nowhere near it. And that's nothing to... I'm not having a go at him for that. That is a fact, Dan. It is an absolute fact. And at the end of it, like, you know, we've got the problems of not scoring goals. I don't really know where we go from here. Like, you know, listen, you're right in what you're saying. The same people that were having a go at you last week and that, they're leaving groups because they haven't got a thing to say about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they haven't got no defence of Mikel at this moment in time. You know what I mean? Because you can't defend what you're seeing. You know, the 3-0 defeat against Crystal Palace has opened up so many things. I've always said this, and I said it, and I said it on streams, and I said it there. There's always a Brighton in every game, in every team at this moment in time. It's in us to lose to there, as it was with Spurs today. Like, you know what I mean? It's what you do after that, Dan. You know what I mean? And what we've done afterwards is crumble, absolutely crumble. I looked at it today with Mikel. Whatever you think about him or whatever, I quite like the guy. I think he's a nice enough bloke and that, but that doesn't mean to say he should be manager of my football club. That is what I'm saying here now, because he stood there today scratching his head. He had not a clue what to do. You know, his people on the sides have no idea. You called it right. He takes off his 2 fullbacks, right? Tavares, I thought, was doing okay on the left side, but he takes them both off. Where is our width coming from? As you quite rightly said, where is it coming from? I'm scratching it. It's Sunday morning decision making. I'm scratching my head, and the Southampton fans going, you know, we look comfortable. We're going to win this 1-0. It's just not good enough, and it's not good enough from the players. All have lost form. Why have they lost form? We don't look like score. You know, as soon as we go a goal down, you might as well turn off the telly, turn off your radios, or if you're at the game, go home, because there's just no way they're going to break. There's no clue how to me today, Dan. Which is the big worrying thing for me. I'm not going to go overboard about sacking managers or whatever. Anybody can come on here and say, look, you're being toxic, you're being this and that. Just give me the reasons. What you see going forward that Mikel's the man. That's what I want to know now, because I watched that today and I'm thinking, I don't know where we're going to score a goal. I don't see where he's coming out of the box and whatever. Now, the only way I see it happening now, Dan, is if he gets madness against Chelsea, we somehow he goes along and beats Chelsea, because that's what it's gonna be now. Like, you know what I mean? I really do. Now, the fact of the matter is, Arsenal all season have not scored a lot of goals. Let's be honest. Like Aubameyang, right? You know, what you just this say about serial goal scorer, Dan, right? He scored wherever he's played. Hardly got a goal this season in him. Lacazette, 4 goals this season. Nothing like, you know. Eddie, you know, hasn't got a goal in him. Smith Rowe has been is our top scorer for a while and whatever. He's chose to leave him out today for Eddie. he has, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day. Now, everybody turning around and saying, oh, look, you know, Tavares is inside. Great bit of stuff today. I wasn't worried about that today. As soon as I see the team sheet, I said to him, you know what I mean, what's Eddie doing out there? You know, he knows that Eddie's not going to score goals. It was more hope than anything else today, Dan. You know what I mean? And here we are at this moment in time, hoping that Arsenal might beat Southampton, 6 games without a win. By the way, lost 6-0 last week. 6-0 last week. We couldn't score. We'd still be out there now, Dan. We wouldn't have scored. Worrying times. Now, I heard Dan turn around there and say, we won't sack him. Well, fair enough. If they ain't going to sack him, come out and say it then. You're not going to sack him, because I can tell you this now. If you, as a manager of a football club, can't get Arsenal back into Europe when they're out of Europe, how the hell does he survive that? If he does survive that, then you might as well forget about Arsenal Football Club, because I'm telling you this now. Burnley Football Club have been ruthless with a manager that's done more in 10 years than Arteta has done in 2.5 years. He has produced a miracle after miracle at that football club. But when it looks like he can't get them to survive in the Premier League, out. Ruthless. Now, what is Arsenal's objective process? What is it? I think it's to challenge for the title, not like getting to Europe. But if we can't even get into Europe, because at the moment, Dan, we're in a position in 6th place, which I believe doesn't get us into Europe, gets us into, and I'll tell you this now, Conference League does not make us Europe, gets us into Europe. Like, you know, if he doesn't get us into the Europe this time, he should be sacked. Nothing to do with him being a nice guy or who this or Mikel out and whatever. It is giving yourself the opportunity, what we need. He has got to have consequences if we don't get into Europe. That is his job. End of.
Yeah, and I can't disagree with anything you're saying, mate. And I do have a worry, and this is again pointing to the owners, and it's not the owners' fault that Eddie Nketiah is up front, and it's not the owners' fault that Nuno Tavares didn't play at left back against Brighton, but it is the owners' fault, in my opinion, for employing this man and for employing Edu. And I think, judges, when you look back into January now, we look rather stupid because Arteta and Edu have left us short, and it's showing on the pitch. And you can sit there and blame the Cronkies for that if you want. But at the end of the day, they were more than happy, from what we're hearing, to give us 70 million for Vlahovic.
Yeah,
so if we weren't going to be able to give us 70 million for Vlahovic and Vlahovic weren't coming, you have to get somebody in. Now, if you can sit there and honestly tell me, people, that Luka Jovic on loan wouldn't have been better than Eddie, or even Wout Weghorst, who's only scored 1 goal for Burnley, which is 1 goal more than Eddie Nketiah, and are surrounded by the Odegaards and Sackers and Smith Rowes, I think you'd probably be a target man for us, at least because we're crossing the ball at the moment to absolutely nobody. A midget and a midget, Lacazette already. Wout Weghorst. If you can't get that, you go and break the bank for Alexander Isak. Oh, but it's so much money and we would have been so financially screwed. I don't give a damn. If it gets me in the Champions League, who gives a toss? All of these Arsenal fans turns into accountants. It's unbelievable, isn't it? We've saved him money. We've saved money on Aubameyang. They're not interested in spending money. They spend enough money. I spend enough money. I only just got in an hour ago from the game. I've spent a lot of money today on absolute trash. That's what it's been. For the last 3 games, I've been to every single one of them. Absolute shambles. Palace at night, spending money, getting in late, going to work the next day. What for? Brighton, going there, spending money. What for? Today, same reasons. I'm the mug who's going to Chelsea on Wednesday night. I'm the mug who's going to be going and watching Man United. Then I'm going to West Ham. And I'm not looking forward to it. So you can't sit there and tell me that spending money is not the right thing to do and we're saving pennies now on Aubameyang's wages, who's banging in 11 goals in 14. You bring up great points, Lee, and I'm totally with you. Mikel Arteta's style of football is affecting the style of our strikers. I'm sorry it is. Aubameyang has proved that it was not him. It was the style of play. Yes, he had problems. Yes, he probably needed to go. But you can't not replace the guy. We needed plan A, Vlahovic. Then we have plan B. Then you go into midfield. Where's our plan A for midfield? We didn't even see one. Maitland-Niles was allowed to leave. Torreira's still out on loan. Guendouzi's still out on loan. We've got El Neni out of contract in the summer. Granit Xhaka's done a documentary basically saying he doesn't want to be here. That's 5 midfielders. We're already short. So why is it that we sit there in January and say, we don't need anybody else? Because that's what Mikel's done. He sat there with Edu and he said, we don't need to replace Aubameyang because we've got Lacazette and Eddie. There's nobody out there at all that can do a better job than Lacazette and Eddie.
Well, that will come back and bite them if that's the case. Let's look at the forward situation first and foremost. Jovic, you said at Real Madrid, I would have took a gamble on them. One, it's on loan. You know what I mean? Like, 2, you've got Eddie that's not proven that he can do it. He's not even going to be here next season. So it was a no-win situation. It was a no-lose situation. Get somebody in to just to take a little bit of pressure off of things. I'm not saying him, but somebody like that. You know what I mean? It was just a ridiculous decision. The more of the ridiculous one was that I still think that Arsenal have got goals in them if they'd have gone for Martinelli up front, Pepe. We've criticised Pepe for. I've criticised Pepe, but what have I always said he is? I said he's the best finisher that we've got in the club, but he ain't getting a chance. Then I've said it all along. The manager doesn't rate him, so here's another one gone. Right? I look at it in the midfield. Partey, the one thing that you would say with Partey is good player. The one thing is injury prone. He's never gone through the whole season, so you gambled on that realistically. You know what I mean? Like, wholeheartedly on that, and that's come back to bite you. They should have gone and got a midfield player to just come in there, even if it was again a loan situation, just to get them through. They've not done it, But these mistakes now, unfortunately, have come to bite us. Because realistically, most people have been saying, listen, I do understand the reason why they didn't do it, because we had a small squad and we ain't got that many games and all that. But ultimately, if it was going to happen, we was in trouble. And that's the case that it's been, Partey's been a big blow, and also Tierney has, it has lost that. We've lost that. Don't forget, we also had Tomiyasu out for far too long. What's going on at this football club? How long does a player go out on a calf strain?
Thigh strain for 12 weeks.
It's 12 weeks, you know what I mean? That's a major injury, that is, as far as I'm concerned. And no looking coming back. And at the end of the day now, desperation is that we're going to rush him back if the case may be. But
can I just comment on that point, Lee, just very quickly? Because you're damn right, we have had injury problems. But I'm being told this manager has sorted us out defensively. So is he only sorting us out defensively when we've got our best players then? Because what happens when we don't have our best players? He can't coach them. So we have to keep 11 players fit for the whole time, and then the excuses come in, but he's got Cedric. He's trying to work with Tavares. He should be a great manager. He signed both of them, did he not? Did he not sign Cedric and Tavares? So if they ain't good enough, then he's not good enough, is he? He's got to be able to coach the players, the squad, not his best 11. I hate that. We never had this with Emery and Wenger.
I totally agree with you on that, this is the thing, it's all right if you want to criticise Mikel at the moment. I'm trying to be objective if you want, sacking a manager is never a great thing to do, but sometimes you have to do it. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, right, well, okay, you're never going to have your best players playing week in, week out. It's how you deal with it. And, look at the way we're playing defensively now. I didn't think Ben White and Gabriel have gone physically, mentally, or whatever. They've gone. You know
Ben
what I mean?
White
They're making
today.
mistakes.
Ben White
They're
today.
looking,
I'm sorry, mate. Ben
yeah,
White
it's just
today.
looking
Wow.
shabby. You know, looking really, really bad. Listen, they've totally, you know, realistically didn't have to defend today, did they? It was totally like dominant from the word go. Now Arsenal, you can go on it about goal scoring. They're you know, a possession-based side now. That's how it is. You know, we had all the possession today, but we have got no one. It's all right have that system if you want, but you've got to have players that are going to be able to open up things on the, you know, create things. I haven't got no one. I thought like today, Martinelli, you know, I love Martinelli, but all he done was got the ball, tried to get past the fullback. If he got past the fullback and crossed it, no one was in there anyway. I don't really see what the logic of it was that he was doing. I then look at Saka on the other side. He's been poor the last couple of games, but he's still playing him there. Like, you know, I'm not saying drop Saka, but change it around a little bit, put him down the left-hand side. You know, and as for Smith Rowe, he's been our top goal scorer, has been left out today for Eddie. I think it's criminal. It's a criminal decision. But the decisions that he's making are not good when even when we're a goal down. Look at the substitutions today. Look at them. Nothing at half time. I thought, like, you know, we're desperate for a goal. We need to change things. Poor. I thought Lokonga in midfield, you know what I mean, done okay, but it's not. Where's the driving runs? Where's all these,
Negative.
you know, coming?
Both of them, Xhaka and Lokonga,
there's no
sideways and backwards, mate.
Yeah,
Sideways
and I look at
backwards.
Partey. Partey does manage to do that sidestep and break in between the lines. We haven't got anybody else that can do that, Dan. So if you haven't got anybody to do it, you've got to change the system, change it up a little bit, and get players being comfortable in what they're doing, and that's where he's gone wrong. That is where he's gone wrong.
Do you think, Lee, as well, this Cedric taking the set pieces? I mean, what is happening there?
Well,
Because,
there you go. Like,
you know, I was amazed that there was two in the first half. He took one was a free kick. Everyone's expecting him to deliver a brilliant cross. He just put it wide. He went for a shot and it just went wide. And then there was another one, which was the complete opposite, that he just hit miles away where no one was.
Yeah.
So what this is like desperation now. And this is a guy who doesn't get in our first 11, by the way. So when he's out the team, who's going to be taking the free kicks there? Surely you have a free kick taker that is your best set piece taker, whether it's Erdegaard or if Pepe's on or if you think it's Saka, whoever it is, you play that person. Why is Cedric taking the corners and free kicks all of a sudden now? We're not like we're scoring when he takes them. So that's another thing I don't understand. It's just it just seems to me, Lee, that he's running out of ideas, Mikel Arteta now.
Well, it's desperation. That's what I'm saying. It looks like it's desperation. When you get into a situation where it's desperate, Dan, sorry for the pun, you know what I mean, but that is what's happening at the moment. Like, you know what I mean, we are in desperate, and he's just trying to. I think that, you know, I don't know how he's going to get out. Listen, Dan, I don't see how Arsenal can get out of, you know, if they lose to Chelsea, that's 4 out of 4 on the spin, 5 out of 5 defeats out of 6. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that is incredible bad form. Like, you know what I mean? If they was then to lose to Man United, I don't see how he could keep his job. You know what I mean? Like, any other club, any other football club would not have it. Like, listen, I love it that we've got fans that want to stick up for him and you know and things like that, but they're not now, are they? They're all disappearing. They're all like, you know, I've got fans that, you know, left the groups today, can't handle it, you know, because they can't say why you should be doing this and should be doing that. The fact of the matter is that we are in a poor run of form, and I don't know why. I don't know why it's happened. I look at the team and I go through it all. Ramsdale hasn't been great for the last few games, but, you know, didn't really have nothing to do today. Cedric's done okay for us, like, but then I look at Ben White, lost form. Gabriel, lost form. Tierney out injured. Tavares done okay today. Lokonga done well. Xhaka, I thought, was poor today. As you know, I mean, we're talking as an attacking point. Odegaard today, his shots and everything was woeful. You know what I mean? Saka, you know, I've not seen Saka play as bad as that for a very long while. The ball come across to him 3 times today and he miscontrolled it. One of them went out.
I thought he was the worst player on the pitch, Saka.
Martinelli, terrible. You know what I mean? Eddie, you know, I'm going to give it with Eddie. At least he tried, but you know what I mean? But
I
that's all
said
we
I
can
said to
say.
Cecil about it with Eddie. I said I'm not blaming this kid anymore. I'm sick and tired of
No.
blaming this kid. I've realised he ain't good enough from day dot, and he's still playing. He's even said I want to go and get first team football elsewhere. This manager keeps playing him. I'm sick and tired of it, Lee. And do you know what I'm sick and tired of as well with this manager? In breaking records for the wrong reasons. I'm going to bring
Yeah,
up something now, which you're aware of, and we sent this together. You watch this, mate. I'll put it on the screen. It is unbelievable what we've seen in the last 3 games. Crystal Palace, they haven't won in home in 2022. Hashtag hello Arsenal. Brighton, they hadn't won none of their last 7 games. They drew 1, they lost 6. Hashtag hello Arsenal. Then we come to Southampton, who have won none of their last 6 games and have lost their last 4 in a row at home. Hashtag hello Arsenal. Lee, there's a lot of records this manager's broke. If that's not even the Burnley one, the Everton one, the Brentford one. This guy is becoming. I said it before. He's becoming a DJ. He's broke more records than DJs do. You know, and for the wrong reasons. You know, and
You can't defend it then.
It is
defend it.
undefendable. And you talk about people leaving groups and all that. You know, well, you know, we're not going to go to games now because I've been Arteta in all this time, but I'm not enjoying the football. I'm not going to go. I'm going to go take the kids out this weekend, or I'm going to go. You know, I've booked something this weekend, or I'm leaving the group now because everyone's getting negative again. I don't understand these people. Like, what's been going on? Like,
the thing is, Dan,
you don't hear from these people.
We've had a good few results, and it was been great, but through those results, we've always had this. We've had 4 or 5 wins, and then 4 or 5 losses. We've had cup defeats against Nottingham Forest, you know, from a league below. We've had a Burnley performance in there, like, you know what I mean. We've had it's never been a consistent run. Now you can turn around and say that's not a consistent run because the players are young and whatever, like, you know what I mean. But okay, I get that they're too young, but then, you know, in the transfer window, you didn't decide to do anything by bulking it up with a bit of with some experience. You know, like 11 losses already this season. That tells you everything. Like, you know what I mean. There's no improvement really. Like, you know, I'm sorry.
Do you know what? This 11 losses thing, man. I've got to put this on the screen as well, man, because I saw this on Twitter. Right, this is Mikel Arteta. This was when we'd lost 6 games. Arsenal lost 6 games. The only Premier League season that they lost more after 15 matches was in 2021 under Mikel Arteta. Now, that to me is just unbelievable. It's not defendable, is it? The people cannot defend this. They cannot defend
they can't defend
with this manager.
How can you defend the manager after these 3 games? You can't. You cannot defend what's gone on in these last 3 games because you get a bad result, you can dust yourself down and go again, like, you know what I mean. And then you know, but the results today. Listen, I don't know how much percentage Arsenal had on that game today, but I would say it was probably about 70%. Right, they had lots of shots, but no real 3 or 4 on target. Goalkeeper made some saves. By the way, made some good saves, but realistically, in the positions that we were in, he shouldn't be making those saves. They should. I
totally agree. Yeah.
To have all of that play and all of that possession and not do anything with it is worrying. And for Mikel to turn around and say, "Oh, we deserve to win today," no, he didn't deserve to win today because, you know, you played into their hands by conceding right on half time in a game that you should have been like 1 or 2-0 up in the game. The fact of the matter is, I watched Chelsea versus Real Madrid a couple of weeks ago, you know, the Champions League game. I didn't think Real Madrid were that good then. 2 headers from Benzema, bang, bang, game changers. We have not got that player in our ranks. If you look at everybody there, then we haven't got players that are deadly enough, like, you know what I mean? Like, shots 23. Is that true today? Shots 23, on target 6, 76% possession. It's worrying. That is worrying. Like, you know, that tells you you're woeful. And listen, this has been going on all season, by the way, our chances have been missed. That's been nothing. That's been going on all season, missing chance after chance after chance. But we've defensively been able to cover that up. But 23 shots, 6 on target, woeful. Like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, the manager needs improving. The management side of it needs improving, but also that the players also have got to take a bit of responsibility from that point of view. You know. I felt Granit Xhaka probably had one shot that, and Martinelli, I think, probably was the other one in the first half or two. You turn around and go, okay, the keeper's made a decent save from them, like, but the rest of them should have been buried. But they should have been buried. You know, as poor as it was then, we should have scored 2 goals against Crystal Palace, 2 sitters, missed. You know, Brighton game again. But listen, what worries me about it is that we've gone like 3 games now. 2.5 games. The game against Crystal Palace, when we come out second half, they dropped deep. We couldn't break them down. Couldn't break Brighton down until a deflective goal, which didn't, you know, ultimately the game was gone anyway. And today we've had virtually all the games to score, and we've not done it. There's no plan. What are they doing on a training ground to break these teams down and whatever? I don't see it. I don't see it.
But the thing is, Lee, as well, Mikel, I can't listen to him anymore either, Lee, after games. I know you like it, what he says and all that sometimes, and you say, you know, you liked to come out and said that it was his fault. I can't listen to this man. He's talking waffle. This press conference today, what the hell was he talking about in some of this stuff? He's got to get some of it here on what he made of today's result. Difficult to explain because this is football. It's not basketball. I mean, where's basketball come from here? This is just a night. I mean, what sport is he on about? With any other sport, you win the games very comfortably and you're talking about different things. Difficult to explain considering the performance. To lose that football match. At the end of the day, it's decided in the boxes. They scored 1 goal, and for the amount of time that we spent around the box and the shots that we had and the situations and the clear-cut chances that we had, we didn't put them in the goal. Because they had an exceptional goalkeeper today, and as well as we didn't have enough quality and enough capacity to break them down when we had the numbers and the situation to do so. Can you please explain what this guy is actually waffling on about here? This is just, to me, that just says we had a lot of shots there, but they scored 1, we didn't. They have a good goalkeeper. And basketball's a good sport. What the hell is he going on about, Lee?
I don't know what he's going on about the basketball, but the fact that he's saying is that's something that I will ultimately agree with him on there. Any other sport apart from football, you dominate, you win. If it's rugby, you dominate, you win. If it's snooker, you dominate, you win. If it's tennis, you dominate, you win. If it's table tennis, you dominate, you win. Cricket, you dominate, you win. Football, you can dominate and you can lose. That is the only game. Name me another game when you can totally dominate and lose. I don't know, but football, that can happen.
It sounds to me like there's a lot of excuses for trying to accept that actually we weren't that bad today because look at these stats, we dominated.
No.
I don't care. I don't care about that.
You know what I mean? Like, Arsenal today weren't bad as far as possession's concerned, things like that. But ultimately, the job was to score goals today, and it was poor. It was a poor performance again. You know what I mean? You can't hide away from that fact, and I don't think you should be, trying to make it up with basketball. Basketball, by the way, is a game where it's end to end. Boss. It weren't end to end today. It was us in their end trying to break them down, and basically Southampton saying, "Well, go on then, you try and break us down," because I tell you what. You ain't got nothing to break us down. You ain't going to scare us. You haven't got anything that can do it. You've not got a player. We haven't got a player of world-class ability in the whole team that can just turn around and change it. The game. We've got good young players coming through, but there's not one world-class player in our ranks. So if you look at other teams, they've got world-class players that can do something. We haven't got that. You know what I mean? And that is the downfall. You know what I mean? Listen, we struggle all the time. Burnley, we struggled against Burnley. We struggled, any team that comes there and defends, Dan, we struggle against unless we score early or whatever, you go back to the beginning of the season when we went on that run back, Norwich 1-0, we were struggling. There's no real improvement of how to break teams down. And I'd love to sit down with Mikel and go, how do you break teams down? Because I don't think he'd know. He'd waffle. Because he ain't got a clue. Listen,
I'm with you.
to coach a football team, it's a lot easier to coach a defensive formation and defend than an attacking. That's why coaches go in and go, right, I'm going to defend, get the defence right first. Because do you know what? It's a lot easier. But to get attacking and doing things like that is so much there. But what you do need is quality footballers, not potentially quality footballers, and that's what we've got. You know, I just didn't see no way we was going to break them today. Actually, watching it at half time, you could have turned it off then.
It was poor. It was so poor.
You know,
and when they scored right on half time, and that goal, by the way, was a ludicrous goal. I mean, it was schoolboy. You know, he's literally just overhead kicked it back in there, thinking, where's that going to go? And he's crossed it in, and it's somehow got it. Our defence have gone to sleep, you know, so no excusing that. What I will do, Lee, I'll bring up some of these super chats because the chat have been lit as ever. There's 1,600 of you. Wow, 1,600 of you in the live chat. Thank you so much for joining me and Lee late on a Saturday night. If you could do us a favour, please smash a like on the video. That would at least cheer us up a little bit today because we're both feeling a little bit down in the dumps. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Palmsy is cheering us up. Lee, he says, buy yourselves a Big Mac, boys. Thank you very much for that, Palmsy. I do.
Thank you very much, Palmsy.
Chaitanya has said that he believes Arteta, Edu and Vinay and the Cronkies, get rid of the lot. He is absolutely fed up with it. And I think a lot of us are feeling like that. And I know sometimes people think that's a knee-jerk reaction. But I think there's been enough evidence over the last 10 years for the Cronkies and certainly
we'll
the last
see a lot about the
2.5.
Cronkies now, won't we? What they actually think about it. Because what they actually think.
100% we will. Steve is saying he's sticking up for Arteta. Steve is saying he can't blame Arteta. There's no striking threat. Look at Palace. They have a guy like Zaha who only needs one chance. Is that a bit harsh, Lee, or do you think that's fair enough?
No, I agree that certainly to a certain point. We haven't got no one like that. But whether it's you could turn around and say it's Mikel's fault because he allowed it to happen in January. You know what I mean? He could have done something about it in January. Exactly. And I think, you know, so I know what he's saying, you know what I mean, like today. But also today, I think it's now, Pepe's one of our best goal scorers as far as I'm concerned. He's not getting no minutes, and that in itself now has got to be addressed.
Yeah, 100%. Evan has said he worries we'll probably lose the next 3 games. If I'm honest with you, Evan, I totally agree. He thinks the club's gone. He can't even watch them anymore. The football is so bad. Arteta out, and more importantly, the Cronkies out. A lot of very, very depressed and down fans, Lee. It's not good to see, but unfortunately, the manager and the process, so to speak, is doing this to us at the moment. Brio, thanks so much for your kind donation. He said, we're playing the sympathy card here. Youngest manager and the youngest players, etc. We have the money and the fan base. We don't deserve any sympathy.
No, I agree.
That's a great
totally
point.
agree.
It's a great point.
Totally agree with
that.
I don't want anybody to feel sorry for us, man. We've put ourselves in this position. Get yourselves out of it, Arteta. You got a chance against Chelsea and Man United to turn it around. I don't see it, but that's what you got to do. And if you don't do it, you know, we could end up eighth again. I'm telling you that now. If we come 8th, I don't care what anybody says. You know, I even think like if we was within the next 3 games, if we was to lose the next 3 games down and we was back down in 8th place, that's West Ham and
Wolves.
I think even Wolves could even go above us and all that. Like if that could happen, then I don't think even the staunch people can give him any chance. You know what I mean? I don't. You know, I'm going to listen. I'm sticking with the faith at the moment because and I know this sounds silly, but if we'd have won today and Tottenham would have won today, we'd be in the same position. You know what I mean? The reason we're in the same position is because we haven't got that confidence. We need a madness. And if we can beat Chelsea, it could all change. But it's a big if, isn't it? Like, you know, it's a big if.
Yeah, it really is a big if. True Gunners TV, thanks, mate, as always, for your donation. Lee says 2.5 years, $250 million spent, and he can't even get us a Champions League place. God forbid compete for a league title. Fans, raise the standards. Hold the club accountable and stop wasting time. Sack him. True Gunners
Well,
TV, I cannot disagree with anything you've just said there, Lee. And I know people might think that's harsh, but I don't
well,
understand. I don't understand
listen,
that. I'm with him, 100% with him.
it's not about Champions League spot. It could even be like a Europa League spot. You can't get like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, and when I look at the manager, if you can't, you know, like when you're looking for top four, beat the likes of Crystal Palace, Brighton, and Southampton. How are you going to challenge Liverpool and Manchester City? What I see in them two today, like, you know, we're a million miles of that. So for me, I just don't see where we go when you're looking to try and challenge for those things. Now I'm panicking because I just see the manager today clueless. So you know, we'll have to wait and see. But you know, listen. I will say this in his defence. I'd gone against the Everton game. I see us after that Everton game, and I thought, oh well, there's no way back for him. But he did somehow produce it. He's got to do it again. He's got to do it again. And this time, I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't see it because he's got games against Chelsea, Manchester United, and West Ham coming up now. I don't know
And
what the
Spurs.
next 3 games were after that. I think he's had it. I'm going to say it now. I think that he's had it. I think that. I can't see him surviving. If Arsenal were to lose the next 3 games and they don't sack him, then listen, that's on us as fans then, and you know you've got to realise that you know the board and everything have not got the ambition that they should have.
Yeah, 100%. This is a really interesting one, this one, Lee. This is from Paul. Paul, thank you, mate. Surely finishing 8th 2 seasons in a row was already sackable. I'm a Wolves fan, but even I know that it's unacceptable for a club as big as Arsenal. What a great point, Lee.
Can't argue with it. Two seasons in a row. I will say one of those was with an FA Cup, so I'll let it go a little bit in halfway through the season. But to go 2 full seasons and finish 8th, I agree. You know what I mean? Listen, there's no other football club, that be Tottenham and whatever, any other football big club would allow that to happen. Now, are we a big club or are we not? You know what I mean? If he comes 8th again and he's still in the job, that tells me everything I want to know about Arsenal Football Club. It's not the club that I support. Like 8th is not good enough. 7th is not good enough. I tell you what, and under Arsene Wenger, 4th wasn't good enough.
Yeah,
so the standards of the football club have dropped. And I tell you what now, unless the fans start going for it, because I tell you what, you might like Mikel Arteta, but I tell you what, as I said, I quite like Mikel Arteta. I ain't got nothing against him in that, but I tell you what, I don't like, Dan, is losing week in, week out, and I can tell you that now, losing week in, week out, and accepting it like I am at the moment. I'm not, you know, like hurting like I used to, because I'm getting bloody used to losing, mate. I'm getting used to it. I want to get back to winning ways, and if Mikel's not going to do that for me, I don't care. See you later. Get the next one in and see who he can do. I don't care who is manager of this football club, as long as they're winning games of football. Once they start losing, and on a regular basis, out. Simple as that. And I'm telling you now, it's getting too regular for Mikel Arteta. He's got too many losses to his name. 11 defeats already. Like, it's too many. Now, and at the end of it, that is it for me now. Like, you know what I mean? I don't care who is the manager. Don't continually keep losing.
100%, mate. I couldn't say it better myself. I'll take this one from Steve because I think it's an interesting point. Steve says, as a Liverpool supporter, I can say that Arsenal's a mentally tougher team than I've seen in the last few years. The lack of scoring, I think, is lack of January signings, and I'm curious to see the summer signings. Steve, you make a good point in terms of us being tougher, but you make a great point in relation to the lack of January signings. You also make a great point to be curious about the summer, because what I am curious about is I've not been able to see Mikel Arteta sign in 2.5 years a centre forward. I've also not been able to see Mikel Arteta coach a class centre forward. I've not been able to see Mikel Arteta use, out of the 7 or 8 options so far, a striker to get more than 5 or 6 goals a season. So it'll be really interesting to see if we do get a brilliant centre forward. I don't care who it is. I don't care whether people think it's going to be an okay signing like an Ivan Toney or an Ollie Watkins, or if it's going to be a Darwin Núñez. I want to see him banging in goals, and I want to see a style of football that suits that centre forward that we bring in. Because let's be honest, we're going to need more than one. So I think that's a great point, Steve. Lee, I'm going to bring the next one in for you, mate, because I think it's a really important one, and it's a player you absolutely love and I absolutely love. Mike has said he can see Martinelli leaving soon. There's a dearth of quality strikers available, and he can develop very well. Take Aubameyang under Xavi, for example. Are you worried or concerned about Martinelli, his future?
Yeah. Of course I am. Of course I am. I'm worried about Martinelli. I'm worried about Smith Rowe, and I'm worried about Saka, because they're not going to put up with this much longer. They might put up with it for another season or so, but then that's it. You know, as a forward, what you want is a manager that wants to bleed goals out of you and everything like that. Not tell you to run back, covering your left back and things like that, or covering the wing back or whatever, like, you know, which I see Mikel doing quite a lot, you know. What I want to see is attacking players scoring goals. Listen, from Martinelli at this moment in time, Arsenal have given him the chance which others didn't. So I feel there's a little bit of loyalty towards that at this moment in time. But as you know, loyalty takes you so far, and there's not a lot of loyalty in football. So, like all of us, I think that at the end of the day, like, we're all getting a little bit peeved of it and all that. They will as well. Listen, the first one that's going to get more upset about it is Smith Rowe, because he's the one being continuously left out for players that are not as good as him. So he's going to be the first one to go mad and all that. Martinelli at the moment, I think he's been restricted on the left-hand side because I don't really know what's, as I said earlier on, what his role is in the team at the moment. It comes out wide, he gets the ball, he plays it back, or he then tries to take on the fullback. They're always doubling up on him. If you have a look at today's game, look at the highlights. You know, I watched it on TV today. You see a little bit more, funny enough, on the TV than when you actually at games. As soon as Saka gets the ball, there's 2 players on him. As soon as Martinelli gets the ball, there's 2 players on him. Why is that? Because there's nothing threat in the middle. If you get someone that can score goals in the middle, and you're not prepared to leave him alone a little bit like they are at the moment, then it might be different. And so they're always going to struggle. But I don't see a problem with Martinelli for a year. But if we was to go another year like we are now, then that's great. Like, you know what I mean? They're not great. Listen, for me now, like, there are. Do you know when they said you made a great point? There's nobody better than Mikel Arteta. Well, there is.
It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
And they're out there. Someone just mentioned it, Mark, in Mancini and all that. Like, and listen, you know, people like making a Mickey about Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche has been punching above his weight for a very, very long while. You know,
I'd take him over Mikel Arteta. Everyone would laugh, but I would. Everyone would laugh, but I would. I don't want him. I don't want him, but I'd have him over this guy.
Let's take the Mickey out of him. But at the end of the day, you know, he's done more in the Premier League than what Mikel Arteta's done, because at the end of the day, I believe he's got Burnley 7th.
And who's done better as a...
I'll take Vieira on a heartbeat.
Who's done better head-to-head as well? Dyche or Arteta? Sean Dyche has. Let's get through these quick. This is an unbelievably good comment, and I know Mark very, very well. I don't think there's any fight in the squad, he says, to get into the starting 11, because they know that Arteta has favourites who will always start. Lee, I think that is an absolute spot-on comment, because if you're on the bench and if you're Nuno Tavares or if you're Pepe, why are you going to be trying to fight as hard as you can, knowing the manager don't like you and don't fancy you? I think it's a great point. I really do.
Terrific point. And you know, you ain't going to get me arguing with it, because I think there is. Yeah. Listen, I will say one thing. Every manager's got his favourites. Doesn't matter whether it's Sunday mornings, professionally, and whatever. But ultimately,
he's made it pretty obvious, though, hasn't he?
He's making it pretty obvious. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Like, yeah.
This has come from Zach. Zach, thank you, mate. Do you think there's an element of no Europe and early domestic cup exits that may be hurting the squad? That's an extra 8 or 9 caps for inexperienced players to gain games, and more importantly, the manager's trust. What do you make of that, Lee? Because I think personally, going out of those cups early was a good thing for our top 4 hopes in the Premier League, but it seems that we still can't manage to get a consistent run of form, even by being out of them cups. So has that got anything to do with it at all, do you think?
I think with Europe, I think it's always like, if you're in the Europa League, it's always good to blood the players, give them a bit more experience. For instance, if we'd have had Europa League football this season, I'm pretty sure Saliba wouldn't have been out on loan. He'd have been getting some experience and whatever, like playing those sort of games. But ultimately, getting knocked out of the cups early and not being in Europe is still meaning we're still in the same position as it is. You can sugarcoat it as well as you like, Dan. You know what I mean? If Arsenal don't get into the top 4 or Europa League, it's a complete and utter foul. And there's no sugarcoating it, like. And when you foul at something like that, someone's head rolls, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And it ain't going to be the players. And it's not going to be like the owners. So one man's got to go. He's got to go if they don't do that. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not saying he should go at this moment in time, because we've still got, mathematically, we've got a chance of getting it through. You know what I mean? We'd be mad if we sacked him now. You know what I mean? But because he could go on and beat Chelsea. Let's see what happens. By this time next week, we know all we need to know. I'm serious, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm really serious about
well, I mean,
this.
I would have had him.
I know
a long time ago.
You'd sack him tomorrow. I get that, and there's loads of fans out there that probably agree with you on that. But ultimately, if we're being realistic, he's got 2 games to save his job.
Oh, there we go. Akash has kindly donated and said, was at the game? Couldn't believe what I was watching. Top 4 is done, he says. We need 4 or 5 players minimum in the summer. And teams have just worked us out, I'm afraid. And we need to buck up some new ideas.
That's a great point. I do think we've been worked
that.
out. I think we've been worked out. Great point.
Absolutely. Last one is from Pachen. He says, Tavares got hooked in the 36th minute and half-time, then gets overlooked for a midfielder and then gets subbed for Gabby to play wing-back when we needed a goal. Gabby scored and went to hug Tavares, food for thought. This situation with Tavares is looking rather silly, Lee, and I was going to bring it up earlier because it was something you said on the last stream. Oh my God, if he plays Tavares, what the hell is that going to look like for the Brighton game now? Do you stand by it? Does he look rather silly now, not playing him at Brighton?
100%. You know what I mean? I'm shocked that he played Tavares. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how can you play Tavares today at Southampton away and not at Brighton at home when you just lost 7 games, when they haven't won or scored in 7 games? It was a ridiculous decision, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you could have got the result on that game there, got against Brighton, got a little bit of confidence from Tavares before he goes in the game. Listen, big shout out to Tavares today, because I'll tell you what, that was a real pressure game for him today.
Yeah.
I don't think he let himself down, the club or the manager down today. Like, but what I tell you, he has been let down by the manager himself.
Yeah, 100%. And I honestly believe that it was a performance where I didn't actually see Tavares coming in today. I thought he was going to play Granit Xhaka. I really did. And I was shocked when I saw the team news. I wasn't shocked to see Eddie. I was shocked to see Tavares. And I was really, really pleased that Granit Xhaka was in the middle with Lokonga, but they were both so negative today. There were so many problems. Again, no one played very well for Arsenal, in my opinion.
Well,
and
none of them can. When you're in that sort of position, Dan, and this is, you know, you've got to get the ball. You've got to be able to go past players and things like that. They haven't got that in their locker. Granit Xhaka's not got that in their locker. Granit Xhaka's pass today was out to Martinelli, who had 2 players on him, get it back and then put it across him. No one in there to get it. Like, you know, it's pathetic tactics today. I've got to say that, really. Like,
it really was. It really was, mate. Before we wrap up, Lee, we've got 7 games left, mate. In my opinion, if we want any slight chance, we've got to win them all. Do you agree with that, or do you think we can afford to drop?
Yeah, no, I've got to win them all. Got to win them all. Unless you know, Manchester United will probably lose to Liverpool on Tuesday night. you got to then hope that, I don't know, Tottenham have got next game. If we're at home, there must be away at Brentford who are on form. They could lose that. Then you rely on other things and all that. But at this moment in time, we don't look like we've got a goal in us. We don't look like we've got a win in us. But listen, Brighton had 7 games without a win, not a goal, and went to Arsenal and won. So that's what football can be like. We've got to believe that we can go to Chelsea and get something. Do I think that we will win at Chelsea? No, but anything can happen, and we've just got to believe that the fortune's going to turn. But if we are to get in the top 4, we're going to win. We need to win 7 games, and I think if we're going to get into the Europa League, we need to win 5. So it's going to be really, really tough. Again, I'm going to say it now. If Eddie's leading that line on
Wednesday.
On Wednesday, then again it doesn't happen. Again, it's on Mikel. Even though I've seen what I've seen today, Martinelli plays up front, Pepe and Saka or Smith Rowe's got to be in that side. I don't know how you're going to get them all in, but they need to, and I think that means Martinelli coming into has got to play up front. I remember him playing at Chelsea a few years ago and was outstanding. So. And that was 2 years ago. He was supposed to be a better player and improved under Mikel. So why is the reluctance not to do that? It's beyond me. It's beyond me, especially when things are not working. He needs to try something different. And let's just hope their luck changes a little bit and we just take a few chances. We're not going to get as many as we did today. That's guaranteed. So, and we're not going to be, having 70% of the play. So.
No.
We shall see, but I think it's done now. If I'll be honest, I think that the damage has got too deep now. When I look at the way the manager is doing things and everything there, I think we're in trouble. But when you're in trouble, who knows? Who knows?
Who knows indeed. We will leave it there, people. I think it's the hope that kills you, as they say, and there's certainly a lot of hope as opposed to belief in this team under Mikel Arteta at the moment. Guys, a couple of things to just say before we do wrap up. Of course, we have our event next Thursday, our live audience with 21st of April, 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock at the Hippodrome Casino. If you would love to come down and see us live and meet myself, Lee, Kevin Campbell, Super Kevin Campbell is our special guest, and of course Sophie Nicolau from the Highbury squad. We've also got Tom Canson from Laguna Talk TV and Harry Simi from Chronicles of Laguna. If you would like to attend, please do DM us on the Instagram, and we can allow you a ticket through email address details. So if you are interested, please do so. We have 20 spots remaining, so get your DMs to our Instagram quick on Lee Judges TV, and hopefully we'll see you there. We're looking forward to it, and it will be something a little bit different. The other thing I want to say is, everybody watching, 45% of you watching are not subscribed. Come on, people. Hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. If you haven't done so already, if you're going to smash that one, smash the notification and the like button. It's absolutely free and it will take you 3 seconds. So we much appreciate that. We want to say thank you to everyone for listening. Thanks for all your interaction. The live chat was absolutely buzzing. And thanks all for your super chats. And we'll be back probably on Bank Holiday Monday. I'm going to try and do something with Matisse for a Chelsea preview, and we'll see if Lee Judges can come on or not, depending how much he's sunning out up in Dubai. But Lee, just before we go, how are you getting on over there, mate? A bit more cheering up other than Arsenal, mate, that you need?
Yeah, it's been very, very good. A lot of Liverpool fans out here at the moment, and a few ex-players, and they was all pleased today to see Liverpool go through. So very, very hot, but enjoy myself, and I'm going to enjoy the next few days and not let the Arsenal bother me too much.
Absolutely, mate. And of course, everybody is loving tanned Lee Judges. Like an extra from Benidorm, he's absolutely loving it out there, and it's looking good. It's looking good, Judges. It's looking good. You're going to come back even more tanned, aren't you? I tell you.
Oh, I am. Yeah, I'm on a factor 4 tomorrow. Oh, there you go, boy. Get it done.
Factor 4. I'll tell you. I need a factor 50 when I go out, and tell you that. Guys, been a pleasure. We'll see you next time. Take care. Up the Arsenal. See you soon.